What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some of the current data points, what's been really affecting Lucid today, and talk on the next big catalyst. So I'm going to go over all that, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid is up 0.5%. It's not much, but in comparison to a lot of the broader market, it is doing rather well. Very little volume, so 15.4 million shares have been traded, 34.9 is the average. So based on today and a lot of the barcoding, a lot of the volume being done today is algorithmic trading, because even looking right here, there's been only 2 transactions over $100,000. So big money still isn't necessarily getting into Lucid, but most likely the algorithms are reading kind of the broader market. And right now CPI did come out both on a year over year and month over month basis. It did come in a little bit hotter than anticipated. So in theory, the market should have went down. And I think that's what kicked off this sell-off right here. But AI was clearly turned on because a lot of the bigger institutions and smart money is reading the numbers behind the scenes. And it does show that the other basket items, in fact, have been going down. And so piggybacking off of last week's data associated to consumers, it goes to show consumers are still out there in the economy, making money, earning money, and clearly spending it and being able to survive. So I think all in all, it does show and signal a very strong economy, despite a little bit hotter than anticipated data. So AI is kind of driving Lucid higher. So in reality, Lucid is doing rather well. Today, there has been no news, no SEC filings, nothing along those lines. Latest data did come out associated to EV, so I'll talk on that for a second. So as of January 2024, on a global scale, EV sales were up 63% year over year. China up 95% year over year. That is goddamn crazy. Europe surprisingly has broken its recent downtrend over the last couple months, because it was down 2% I think in November and 29% red last month. So it is up 26%, and the States is somewhat lagging. So last month it was up 44 or 40%, one of those two, but right now it is up 19. But regardless, still a lot of good demand out in the broader market, so really advantageous for any EV. Just Lucid ideally needs to get that lower price vehicle out sooner rather than later, as well as the Gravity. So when it comes down to the Gravity, I've been saying that's the next big thing, and I've been very questioning on why Lucid has not unveiled their Gravity, and they didn't really give any context during their last earnings on when that might be. And I was kind of scrolling through Twitter, and oddly enough, I did see this was posted. So Lucid Motors is stuck in a fight over the name of its Gravity SUV. So it does look like Google Ventures-backed EV charging company Gravity Inc. Filed a petition for cancellation. So who knows? It is kind of up to TTAB, so the, I guess, trial appeal board. And so technically, based on my experience, I did cover when I first started YouTube a stock called HCMC. So I'm kind of well aware of the timelines associated to the appeal board. Typically, it does take 6 months. So logically, this hands down is the reason why the Gravity has not been unveiled right now. So after reading this, I kind of had more of an epiphany. So it kind of does make sense. Is it good for Lucid? Most definitely not. So unless Lucid is going to do a last minute decision and change the name of, for instance, the Gravity to something else, I'm not sure. But technically, like this, I don't know if there's also, on a side note, some way to expedite this appeal board, maybe coming from Lucid's standpoint, or maybe, I don't know. Again, I'm not an expert in that kind of field, but essentially this kind of does piece together exactly why Lucid has not really done all that much associated to the Gravity. So kind of good thing, bad thing, I'll leave it up to you guys to make that determination. When it comes down to shorts, they really decided to double down based off of the CPI data somewhat. So shorts right now are increasing 4.24 million shares. 27.65% of the free float is being shorted, and that works out to be 243.42 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is 21.99%, and based on this, you do see some signs of manipulation. Hasn't actually happened all that much with Lucid, but I recently did a Rivian video earlier today, and the same situation happened for Rivian. So I don't know, bigger picture, maybe someone is trying to target EVs, But in Lucid's case, cost to borrow minimum is negative 1.15%. And so that does mean there is a broker physically out there that is paying people to short Lucid. So as weird as backwards as that is, and like I said, similar nature to what's happening to Rivian right now, but despite all of that and shorts really doubling down, Lucid is actually holding up relatively good today. Looking at options activity and all the other fun jazz. So right now, $367,000 in calls being purchased versus 4.69 million in puts. Sentiment wise, kind of evenly divided. So 48% of all the options being done today are bullish and optimistic. And it does look like there's more of a consensus for it to be above roughly $4 based on the strike prices and the options. And then of the call options that are being purchased today, again, there's a consensus, a very strong one in fact, for it to be above $4. So right now there's 47,000 in open interest at that $4 strike price. So kind of abnormal there. But aside from that though, these are some of the transactions as well that has occurred on the dark pool. So even the dark pool isn't really all that popular today. So I kind of brought this up. So this is secondary market. This is dark pool. So big money is just kind of sitting on the sidelines. But as far as some support and resistance points as of right now, so with it at $3.01, it is above this S1. So even though it did break this twice, so once yesterday and one today, it keeps retracing back into this range, so this S1 to the pivot. So we do know this 297 is a very strong support, and aside from that, $3.37 is going to be that next strong resistance. So hopefully there might be more of a value rally into the rest of the week once CPI data has been fully digested in the broader market. People can analyze all the other fun jazz. Of course, I think on Thursday, PPI is coming out. So up until Thursday, essentially, this is where you could see a potential push higher and maybe touch this pivot point. But as far as on the actual chart, so I'll give you a quick overview of that. So it is still lower percentile of the Bollinger Band, and ever since it did fail to transition into the higher, it's been consolidating. So I think right now, looking especially at stochastic, it is considered very oversold. So this is the time, for instance, Lucid to put out something good. That way you'll be able to really entice a lot of value investors to get in and have that nice attempt at that transition into the higher percentile once again. But right now it looks like number of retail investors have been getting out today. Well, it's kind of stagnant somewhat, but overall the trend has been down. So over the last little bit, just big money and retail have been clearly getting out of Lucid. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid as well. What do you think about this whole naming of the Gravity? Do you think that Lucid is eventually going to have to change their name, or do you think that they're just going to maybe push back the actual unveiling and the reservations of Gravity up until maybe, I don't know, later part of the year once this does get sorted out in maybe 6 months, 3 to 6 months? So what's your thoughts? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for an account with Moo, throw $100 at it and you get 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000, so take advantage of this. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.